Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am the Grand Cat and today we're going to be continuing our epic series of Cobra Kai and Karate Kid figures. And of course we have already done the young Daniel LaRusso, the young Johnny Lawrence and the Cobra Kai Daniel LaRusso. We're now going to go into the original villain of the series, which is of course the sensei of Cobra Kai, the original sensei, which is of course John Kreese. So we're just going to move these rest of these figures out of the way for the time being. We're going to do a bit of a size comparison at the end. We're just going to move those guys over here and let's talk about Sensei Kreese. And here he is in all of his glory. And you see there in the top right corner, strike first, strike hard, no mercy. That is the Cobra Kai way, when it's not sweep the leg, of course. And this is, of course, the Cobra Kai version. So this is the older version of John Kreese. This isn't the one from Karate Kid. And let's take a look at the back. So you see here, it's the same image on the back as what we had for Daniel LaRusso. And let's see here. Okay, so the back of it is exactly the same as what it said for the Daniel LaRusso one, with the exception of it says John Kreese instead of Daniel LaRusso. Even says 16 points for articulation, multiple interchangeable hands in the support stand, and so on and so forth. So, and of course it says Cobra Kai Karate at the top of it instead of Miyagi-Do. So very, very nice, very cool to see. This is series 1, and the back of this, of course, says Cobra Kai, where the Daniel LaRusso one said the All Valley Karate Championship. So it's very cool that they've got different backs to the backings of these. And let's just do a comparison to the back of the boxes that you can see there. On the right is, of course, the Daniel LaRusso, and on the left is the John Kreese. So, this figure is also a present from the Big Boss Man. And this was the first of the Cobra Kai figures that I got. So this is what started me down the path. So, thank you for that, Big Boss Man. A very expensive hobby that I have been pushed into. And this is John Kreese. So, let us jump right in. We're going to cut him open. And let's cut him open. I wonder how many of you there noticed that there was a jump cut. If you did, what I was doing was I was getting myself a drink because I forgot to do one in between takes. And I said I was going to during the last video, and my voice was very dry and I noticed, and I was thinking, this is going to be another long review, so I wanted to get something before we really got into it. So let's take John Kreese away to the side for just now. You can see the back of it has your Cobra Kai symbol, which is very, very cool, very, very nice. The back does come out, as we found out, but we're not going to remove it because, well, there's no reason to. It is largely quite flimsy. Maybe it would be a nice display stand if you were going to go for that, but it certainly isn't something I would go for. So instead, let's take a look at John Kreese. So we're going to do the same that we did the last time. There's going to be some sellotape that we're going to have to cut open. And for anyone that is new to the channel, first of all, welcome. And secondly, I show the entire unboxing reviews from start to finish, which includes everything. Okay, there's a little bit of plastic now that we need to get rid of. So a lot of other people on the internet will jump cut to the figure already opened. I show what everything looks like from start to end. It feels like something. Okay, so there's a little bit of plastic keeping that down as well. That's where we have nail clippers. So we're just going to cut into these here. Just a little bit of plastic right there. Just going to use nail clippers to cut. We've got one of them, but not the second. There we go, done. and one here on the bow staff as well, which is a little bit more annoying, so we're going to turn it over and cut this side instead, which makes things a lot easier. And, well, let's open them from this side instead then. So, there is our stand. We, of course, looked at the stand on the previous video. So, although this one is its own unique review, this is really sort of part 4 of the Cobra Kai series of figures. So if you haven't seen the previous ones beforehand, I recommend watching them, because we're just going to be skimming over a lot of the parts that we have already seen. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, even with drinking that, still feel very, very dry. So, here is John Kreese himself. We're going to put him just over to the side for just now. We're going to get him to stand first of all. He's in his traditional black gi setup, because he's the bad guy. He comes with the black pole staff, which, oh my goodness, which is exactly the same as the bow staff that Johnny LaRusso, oh my goodness, that Daniel LaRusso came with, just of course repainted to be completely black. So that's very cool to have that as an added accessory. He comes with 2 tonfas, which is good because tonfas generally are used in pairs. Very nice. We're just going to put those over here for just now. So, Kreese, we're just going to leave him to lie down for just now. You know what, we're going to keep this out. We put this as one of his accessories. Let's take a look at the alternate hands that we have here. And then we have the stand. And that is all of our accessories. So, let's look at the alternate hands we have. So, we have this one, which, if it would focus, there we are. So this one is interesting. He is sort of sticking his thumb out, which is the kind of thing that you would do almost more as a sort of, you know, to like gouge at someone's eye or something. It's not a traditional punch style, which is interesting. This one here is a traditional fist with the thumb underneath the fingers, but having the thumb up here, it's more of like a sort of, I suppose in terms of movie, like a sort of evil tactic. So it is quite, you know, it makes sense for John Kreese to have, you know, something like this. Or maybe this is supposed to be like for him leaning his chin on his hand, which is sort of his patented pose. This is interesting. And he has the same for the left hand. So you've got 3 alternate hands, and 2 of them have the thumb on the outside of the fist, like so, which is interesting to see. And then we've got the one closed fist for the right hand, which is interesting. So we'll try out some of those, although if you saw the last video, swapping hands is not particularly easy. So let's take a look at John Kreese himself. So he automatically in the box comes equipped with 2 sais, which is correct because he does use a sai very, very briefly in Cobra Kai. Spoilers if you haven't seen it, but if you have seen it, I think you know what scene I'm talking about. It's a very, very famous scene at the end of one of the seasons, and I won't say which one for people that haven't seen it, but it is very, very cool. And someone else, of course, originally goes to use the sai, and John Kreese picks it up. So that is pretty cool that he's got that. Once again, I am not seeing anything on the shoulder that allows you to move them in or out. It looks like they're just stuck in that position. We can almost have... See, without being able to move the shoulder outwards, it's very limiting to what we can actually do. So, it's a little bit annoying. I do like that it's got Kreese's tattoo on his arm here as well. I don't think I'm going to pair him, like, I don't think I'm going to pose him with the size, if I'm honest. I think the size are a little bit gimmicky, but it is a cool accessory to come with, and if anyone was to come with a sai, it really should be John Kreese. So we're going to swap those out, but they are so prevalent. And also these hands are actual gripping hands that can actually hold things, which is slightly better than the ones that LaRusso came with. Of course, you could probably swap out the same hands that LaRusso has for your John Kreese hands, because I imagine it'll just be the same sculpt and the same figure. So, like, any hands you've got here can probably also work with your Daniel LaRusso as well, which is interesting to think about. Could allow a lot of cool changes or swapping overs and such. So, the first thing we're going to do, which is unusual, is we're not going to go over the articulation first. We are going to swap out the hands. And then we're going to go over the articulation. So that hand came out a lot easier than the previous one. And now the only other left hand that we have, even though this is on our right hand side, it is his left hand, John Kreese's left hand, is the one with the thumb sticking out. And that went in a lot cleaner than the one with Daniel LaRusso. So can we get into that pose? Oh my goodness. Oh, almost. We are shockingly close to it. With a little bit of tact, you can almost get in there with it. It's just a little bit off. I'm seeing if there's any way that I can try and do a bit of movie magic, but that is probably about the best that we're going to get. So let's swap out this hand with the sai as well. Literally, swiveling is a better technique than just, pulling. If you just pull, you're more likely to break it, and that's why twisting is slightly better. Mildly, you can see there. So, but way to go. You just kind of want to keep going in until you get it to snap in, and then you have it perfect, like so. And unfortunately, it is not possible to get the arm all the way over to the side either. So we can't get his patented, thinking pose, with his thumb or his fist on his chin, which is really the thing that he's kind of most well known for. So that is probably about the closest you can get with it. The other one we can do is, of course, just having the hands behind the back, which is a little bit more cheating, but that is a more typical sensei style pose to do something like that. So you can do it that way. I just wanted to try and get the other version if I could, but it seems to be a little bit difficult. And I'm sure that these come out easily enough. I don't really want to, because I kind of want to just keep the size equipped. But I'm sure, well, we'll do one. So the sai comes out easily enough. And let's try putting it in a tonfa, just to try it out. So, top of the tonfa is pretty pretty big. Doesn't really look like it wants to go that way. We can have it that way for a reverse grip, or if you wanted, we could swap it out and have it more up way, like so. But to put it in this way would be just a little bit more effort. I'm sure we can. I just don't know if I care enough. You know what, for the sake of doing it on camera, let's put the effort in, and there we go. So it does work. You can see there that it does clip and it does connect, but you would probably have to have it sort of like this way or like this way, because you can see that it does sort of overshadow onto where the wrist would connect. So that's how that works. So just pull that back out there, and let's just try the bow staff. So the bow staff it's a lot better in Kreese's hand than what it was in Laruso's hand, where Laruso's hand has the more open grip style we saw in the previous one. So there we are. But okay, now let's look at the articulation. So of course we've seen that the shoulders move, although the shoulder moves all the way right through. Okay, so we've got full rotation there. The bicep swivel, of course. You have the double wrist rotation, or the double elbow rotation, sorry, not the double wrist. We've already seen the wrists. So it is the same on both sides. We have the awesome tattoo here for John Kreese. There you can see it, which is him holding the Cobra. We have the upper body swivel, at least we're supposed to. It's very stiff, but there, okay, rotates there. We should also have waist swivel as well. And I realise we're just a little bit blurred there. The head does move. There isn't much rotation, if any, back and forward. Not very much. The face sculpt actually does look quite a bit like John Kreese. It's not a perfect likeness, but you can definitely, like, if you looked at this on a shelf, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's John Kreese. You know, like you would know immediately. This elbow's a little bit more off. You can see there that it kind of does this, which is not a good sign of quality at all. The other arm is completely fine. But, I mean, so long as it works, so long as it doesn't snap off, I'm okay with it. It's just something to be careful. Again, you do have to be careful with these Diamond Select figures. They're obviously not meant to be played with. They are meant to be collector's items. You don't really get an awful lot of rotation in the hips there. You can do essentially a high kick, but not much more than that. We have, of course, our leg, our thigh swivel on both sides. We have a double knee rotation, which I remember this from the Laruso one, that this knee, there we go, was a little bit stiff. This one I think you get a little bit more bend than you do with Laruso, or maybe I'm just imagining things. There we go, same with that one. And then, of course, lastly, the feet. So in the Icon Heroes, they've got the toe pivot. This one doesn't, but instead the foot actually does rotate, and you do have a little bit of movement back and forth instead. So that is, so both have pros and cons, but of course they're very, very different figures, because it's the young Karate Kid versus the more modern Cobra Kai figures. The other one we can do is, if we can get John Kreese to hold his lapels, but I feel like that is also just asking a bit too much. It's because we don't have the shoulder rotation. I think if the shoulders could come out just a little bit more, then we could maybe get there, but that is the closest we can get, which isn't exactly like I would like this hand to be up here a little bit more, maybe with a little bit of movie magic. So the thing is, looking at it from a very specific angle looks not too terrible, but if you look at it from the side, you can see that the hands are nowhere near the lapels. So instead, I think I'm just going to try and get back to that hand resting on fist style. Unfortunately, the elbow doesn't let me get in close enough there, and unfortunately this arm does not reach far enough across to get there, so you just kind of have to sort of imagine it. So if we do something like that, unfortunately the hand is nowhere near the chin, but if we do something like that, then from a specific angle, it kind of looks like what we're going for. Which is unfortunate that is the closest that we can get. So let's move these accessories to the back just a little bit, and let's do a little bit of size comparison with our other figures. It's just me, or is this camera at a tilt? Interesting. Okay, there we go. There. Satisfied. And I'm not sure I showed this off actually, but this is the Cobra Kai stand that you get with this figure. And, well, let's try using this one on Kreese, because we're going to keep his feet together. We're not going to put him into a traditional karate pose. Going to do something like that, and there, that is pretty cool, fairly iconic for John Kreese, I'd say. And yeah, let's do the size comparison. So I think first off is his star pupil, Johnny Lawrence. You can see that Johnny, being younger, is just a little bit shorter than what John Kreese is, which is absolutely perfect because that's what he would have been at the time, because of course the All Valley High Karate Tournament is meant for, well, I wouldn't say kids, but I mean the film is actually called Karate Kid, so I mean, yeah, okay, sure, why not? So there you have Sensei Kreese with young Johnny Lawrence. Let's compare him with our modern Cobra Kai Daniel LaRusso. You can see that those two are the same height scale, and then we have the slightly shorter young Daniel LaRusso, young Daniel-san over there, and that is our little collection thus far. So the last thing we're going to do is we're just going to take these figures away, and we're going to put good old John Kreese on our little stadium. So here we are. Shove that on like there, and there we are. There is the rotation of John Kreese, and I just realised the camera is now no longer looking at him, so let me just fix that for you guys there. There we are. And there you can see. So of course, John Kreese doesn't have the Cobra Kai logo on his back. But he does have, of course, his black gi. So Terry Silver's gear that's in season 2 is quite a bit cooler because on the sleeve it says Sensei and such on it. But John Kreese did have like the traditional, just pure black gear. Obviously there was a part in the Cobra Kai series, without any spoilers, where John Kreese did not own Cobra Kai. So there is a bit of that, and it might be taking some leeway from that when he was just wearing just his plain black gear. because I'm not sure when this part is actually meant to be set, but it is a very, very cool John Kreese. Of course, John Kreese is a very, very important character to the series, and he's a very, very cool, very cold, calculating, and very cruel character as well. And he has an awesome backstory that you see in Cobra Kai as well, which is very cool that they decided to go for that. And just like we did with the Daniel LaRusso, let's just do the 2-part here with Sensei and Master of young Johnny Lawrence and the Sensei John Kreese as well. I really like that these figures go well together. You can also get a younger John Kreese. He comes in a 4-pack with the 3 other Cobra Kai... Well, the 3 other Cobra Kai main members, along with Johnny Lawrence. I haven't purchased that yet, but what I have purchased is the 2-pack of Daniel and Mr. Miyagi. So we are going to be reviewing the Mr. Miyagi figure as well, and when the Season 2 figures come out, we're going to be reviewing the modern Cobra Kai, Johnny Lawrence and Terry Silver, and possibly Chosen as well. You guys let me know in the comment section below if you want me to do Chosen as well, but I'm definitely, unquestionably getting Terry Silver because he's my favourite character in the entire Karate Kid and Cobra Kai series. But that is going to be it for this little video, folks. I really hope that you guys all enjoyed, and if you did enjoy it, please give me a like, share and subscribe, and if you are subscribed, make sure you click that notification icon to see when more of these videos go out. It might be a little while before we see a new Karate Kid figure, or it could be the next video, because I'm not sure, because this is the end of this recording session, and, well, I'm not sure what it is I'm going to start with in the next recording session. But that's it for this video, folks. I really hope you all enjoyed, and we'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.